Your brain is on fire right now and you don't even know it. Not because you're crazy, not because something's wrong with you, but because you are being fed a steady diet of manufactured reality and your nervous system is responding exactly the way it was designed to, with alarm, with confusion, with a low grade hum of anxiety that never fully goes away. You scroll and you feel worse. You put the phone down and you feel guilty. You pick it back up because at least the chaos feels familiar. Um, and this is what's happening when a system specifically engineered to keep you too overstimulated to think straight. And today, what I'm going to talk about is that it's actually happening. Things like why your family's being targeted, who benefits from all of it, and what you're actually called to do when the world feels like it's coming apart at the seams. So, welcome to the Listen Bitch podcast. I am Brandon Lynette, and this show exists for one reason: to help you stop playing small and to start walking in what God actually put you here to do. I coach my neurospicy people who think differently, who feel everything deeply, and who have been told their whole lives that the way their brain works is a problem to be managed. And we don't do that here. We do responsibility, we do calling, we do potential, we do the hard, unglamorous work of building a life that actually looks like what God showed you when you were brave enough to dream. If you're a person of faith who is done shrinking, then this is absolutely your place. And real quick, I am actively looking for sponsors. If you have a brand that gives a damn, that actually aligns with faith, personal development, mental wellness, and people who are building something real, I want to talk to you. You can reach out to me through brandonlynette.com because I'm not putting my name next to something I don't believe in. That's not what we do around here. So, yeah, let's get into it. I want you to think about the last time you went down a rabbit hole online. Maybe it started innocently. You saw something in your feed, maybe a headline that made your stomach drop, maybe a video that had you nodding so hard your neck hurt. 2 hours later, you're furious about something that you can't fully explain to yourself or your spouse. You feel vaguely hopeless about the future. Your to-do list is absolutely untouched. And I want to make this very clear. It is not an accident. This is a feature in the programming for you. It is not a bug. And the platforms you are using every single day are built to inform you. They are built to hook you. And the most effective hook in human history is not joy. Okay? It is not inspiration. It is outrage. It is fear and the deep biological need to belong to a tribe that is right while the other tribe is wrong. Your brain, especially if yours is like mine, it runs a little hotter than average. If it makes connections fast and feel things in surround sound, like intense, we're particularly vulnerable to this. And not because there's something wrong with us, but because a brain that's wired for pattern recognition and emotional intensity is going to respond to all of this bullshit engineered stimulation exactly the way a sports car responds to rocket fuel. It goes, and someone else is steering. And this is what I need you to understand about the fucked up world that we're actually living in right now. Okay. Number one, this is spiritual warfare. Okay. And this is the devil's playground. There is a coordinated, intentional effort to dismantle the family. And I'm not using a metaphor. I'm talking about the family unit. A mother, a father, children who are raised with identity and love and faith is the single most dangerous thing to a system that needs compliant, dependent, isolated people. You cannot control someone who knows who the fuck they are, who knows who their God is, and has a table full of people who will go to war for them. So the strategy is very simple. Let's make people question everything. Let's destabilize the most intimate relationships. Let's inject confusion into children before they're old enough to have a framework for truth. And then position the algorithm and the government as the replacement parent. And it is working on a massive scale. Kids are being raised by screens. Parents are exhausted and guilt-ridden and one notification away from a complete sensory meltdown. Marriages are crumbling under the weight of two people who have been algorithmically served two completely different realities and can't figure out why they can't communicate anymore. This is not a coincidence. The culture shift is not organic. It is being pushed and funded and protected by people who have a very clear vision of what a broken society looks like and what it makes possible. Okay? And yeah, what is the truth of this? We know that these people in positions of power are doing unconscionable, conscionable evil things to children. And it's not as a conspiracy theory. This is actual proof, reality that has been documented and charged and buried simultaneously. And the thing is that the internet is arguing about everything except that. And we're not even realizing, like, you guys think the stuff just stopped. They're abusing, mutilating, raping, dismembering, and eating our children. That's what they're doing. And they're laughing at you while they're doing that. And they're playing with everyone's tax dollars to keep everyone's pockets lined up to bribe people to keep the money and the power. And when you people keep screaming at each other about politics, you're never going to have the bandwidth to look at what's actually happening in the dark. And that's the whole point. That is the whole point. A very intentional thing is happening. And you're a useful idiot if you do not wake up and unplug from the system. The greatest rebellion right now. That's what Listen Bitch is going to be about. The greatest rebellion. Okay? Is going to be not you depending on the church or the country or the state or your government, on anyone but you and your relationship with Christ. And what you're going to do with this, because this is where I see people fall apart. You find out the world is worse than you think. And you either go numb or you go down a spiral that's going to consume you. So now you've got people every day just doom scrolling for 6 hours and calling it like being informed, right? Getting so deep into the darkness that they forget there is a light, and not just any light, but a light that paid an actual price to make sure you had access to it. Jesus did not go through what he went through so you could sit in a fog of paralysis knowing the truth but doing nothing with it. He put a calling on your life before you were born, before you had a single follower, before you built anything, before you figured out what you were supposed to do. He already saw it. And that calling doesn't disappear because the world is messy. If anything, the mess in the world right now is the reason that your calling matters. Your brain that won't slow down, that makes connections other people's miss, that feels injustice like a physical sensation. That is not a liability in a world that needs people who can see clearly and speak loudly. That is exactly the equipment required for this moment. And the question is whether you're going to let an algorithm wire your nervous system into a state of chronic activation where you're technically awake but functionally useless, or whether you're going to take radical responsibility for what you consume, how you think, and what you build. What do you do next? What do we do now? We know this is the devil's playground, and everything that's happening is everything that's happened before. Child sacrifice is not new. Cannibalism, not new. Satanic cult rituals, not fucking new. Government corruption, not new. Churches folding, caving, not new. I just want to say, neuroplasticity is one of the most underused weapons you have access to right now. Like, your brain is not fixed. It's not set in stone. It is not a diagnosis with the ceiling. The science is very clear. The neural pathways that you strengthen are the ones that become your default, and the ones that will stop feeding will literally thin out over time, which means that the person who spends 2 hours a day in outrage-based content is physically building a brain that defaults to threat detection, to reactivity, to hopelessness. And the person who guards their inputs, who intentionally feeds their mind on truth and vision and faith, is building a brain that can hold steady when everything around them is screaming. And this isn't some soft motivational bullshit talk. This is biology. You're either being shaped by what you consume or you're being intentional about what you become. There is no neutral option. And this means something. It means you audit your feed like it's a drug you're taking, because it is. It means you notice how you feel before you pick up your phone and after. It means you get ruthless about the difference between being informed and being consumed. You can know what's happening in the world without marinating in it for hours. You can be aware of the evil without making it the primary tenet of your mental real estate. And you could do something that feels almost countercultural right now. You can build. This is the rebellion. You can build. You can invest in your family, in your fucking marriage, with your children, with your calling, with your community, with the same intensity that the devil is investing in tearing it apart. That is the actual resistance now, not the loudest voice online. It's all scripted. It's all of them, and it's all bullshit. I want you to have the most rooted life offline. God did not call you to be informed. He called you to be transformative. And you cannot transform anything from a place of chronic overwhelm and distraction. So, yes, know what's happening. Absolutely. Be aware. Be awake. Call out evil and protect your kids and your family and your values with everything that you have, but do it from a foundation that can't be shaken, not from a feed that shifts every 4 hours, okay? Root yourself in who the fuck you are, whose you are, and what you're actually put here to do. And then go do that thing with everything you've got. Loudly, faithfully, without making an apology. The world does not need more people who know how bad it is. It needs more people who know and decided to be the answer anyway. And I'm going to wrap this one up today. If this episode hits something and you do me a favor and don't just let it sit there, okay? Follow Listen Bitch Podcast. This is the rebellion. Join me here. Go leave a written review wherever you listen, because that's how people who need this actually find it. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't, and share this with someone who's been swallowed by the scroll and needs to hear that there's a way out. Full video is on YouTube if you want to watch that. And for everything else, coaching, community content, all of it, books, go to brandonlynette.com. And I'll see you guys on the next one.